Well, hello there, guys. This is Agrippa Maxenius speaking. I promised you guys an interview with my father, the first lieutenant who served in Vietnam, and here it is. I want to let you guys know that we're going to be doing a series on these. We're going to be sharing experiences that he had in the war, and we're starting off with a particularly interesting one involving fragging. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what fragging is, what fragging entails. It's when men try to kill their commanding officers, and this is something that my father had a first-hand experience in. Not obviously a fragger, but a fraggy. So I will let you guys listen to him tell his story, and I hope you guys show some respect and enjoy. So thanks so much for joining us. If you could, I'd like you to just share this experience in particular regarding fragging, and if you could, your years of service in Vietnam, as well as your rank, your battalion number, and maybe just a little bit of information.
Okay, my rank was first lieutenant. I was stationed in Vietnam from May of 1968 to May of 1969. I was assigned to the 553rd Engineering Battalion, and I had asked for, and I got my first choice stateside with where I would be stationed. I asked for and got a heavy equipment platoon, and had bulldozers, road graders. Our battalion mission was to rebuild a 20-mile stretch of the main north-south highway in Vietnam. We called it QL1. It was potholed. You could hardly even drive on it. And our objective was to convert it into a 3-lane international highway standards. And mostly what we dealt with was construction. It wasn't fighting. And as an officer in a construction battalion, remember, battalion is 1,000 men. As officers, we had a rotating duty called Officer of the Day. The Officer of the Day basically was responsible for the battalion security, keeping an eye on the entire battalion at night while most of the troops and the officers were asleep. And it was my day to be Officer of the Day. So that assignment tended to run from about 7 in the evening until 5 a.m. the next morning. So I was in the battalion headquarters, and I got a call from our perimeter guards. We had one of our own men, Corporal Jelks, was trying to pick a fight. And he had a weapon, and he was trying to pick a fight with one of the guards that was stationed on the perimeter. And the sergeant called me and said, please, we got to deal with this man. He's out of it. Come out and deal with him. So I got my Jeep driver. I had my .45 pistol, and that was the only armament that I had. We sped off to the perimeter. And when I got there, I identified the corporal. He had been drinking, alcohol, marijuana. Those were major issues at times that we had to deal with in the base camps. So I brought Corporal Jelks over to the Jeep. Said, Corporal Jelks, you got to come with me. We're going back to headquarters, and I'm going to confine you to your barracks tonight. You've got to leave this man that's doing guard duty alone. He's working. So I put Corporal Jelks in the back of the Jeep. He didn't resist. Everything seemed fine at that time. It was obviously he was pretty agitated, but I took him back to the headquarters. Told him, go to your barracks. You have to stay there, and I'm going to write a note to your platoon sergeant, and he will deal with you in the morning. So his sergeant was Sergeant Stringer. I left him a note describing the events of the night, and I didn't think much more about it because things were quiet. We had no problems on the perimeter. The guards were doing their job. So about 4:30 the next morning, my supervisor, which was Major Copeland, came in. He said, "Lieutenant Buster, I'm coming in early today. You can go ahead and take on off, and I'll keep an eye on the battalion. And you're relieved of your Officer of the Day duty for tonight." So I headed on back, and I was in the shower, taking a shower, and I hear M16 gunfire within the compound. Crap! What the hell? I'm all soaped up. I can't go out soaped up, so I showered off real quick, got rid of my soap, and was asking another lieutenant, "What the hell's going on?" He said, "I don't know." So it took us a couple of minutes. We got dressed, put our uniforms back on, headed out. What had happened is, without any warning, Corporal Jelks had come out with his M16, and he opened up from about 20 feet away on his platoon sergeant and his company commander. His platoon sergeant was Sergeant Stringer. Sergeant Stringer took 6 rounds from about 20 feet away. He died in probably 15 or 20 seconds. He had no chance. Captain Oporowski took 5 rounds and somehow lived. I'll never know how that captain survived 5 rounds from 20, 25 feet away. He lost an arm. He had wounds in other parts of his body. But then Corporal Jelks went back to battalion headquarters looking for me. I wasn't there. Evidently, he walked in. He didn't recognize Major Copeland. That was my supervisor. And I'll always wonder what would have happened had I still been in battalion headquarters with Corporal Jelks coming and looking for me. However, that didn't happen. I was in a different place. So he went back to his barracks, and after some time, some of his other friends in that platoon talked him into surrendering, which he did. He was court-martialed. He ended up having to go to Saigon and to a prison there, and I was responsible for transporting Corporal Jelks to Saigon. He and I were handcuffed. That's one of the most enjoyable experiences, to take a man who was trying to kill his own people and get him out of circulation here, because we have a job to do here. Fragging is a serious, serious problem in war. We lost 58,000 of our troops killed in Vietnam. Estimates are somewhere around maybe 5,000 of those who died were at the hands of our own troops, which is quite a tragedy. And the result was, with a court-martial, military court-martial, Corporal Jelks was sentenced to serve 20 years with no chance of parole during that time. So if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask questions in the comments below, and I welcome those, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. And thank you today for listening.
Thank you so much for doing this interview, Lieutenant, and I hope you guys will drop some questions in the comments down below. Take care and have a great day.